There we go. We'll try that again. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, or good morning, depending on where in the world you're watching the show.
Second time lucky. What we were saying was we were distracted, which is true. And it was the chili con carne.
It was Anna's chili con carne. So, as we said before, you guys are all invited to go back to Anna's house for chili con carne with us.
Yes.
Apologies for that.
That was interesting. That's a new one.
It is a new one. Yes.
Three things. That would be the three things that went wrong already.
Absolutely.
So they're out the
way. We're going to fly into tonight's show because we have quite a few designs that we want to get through and some techniques in there as well. So
like how to add volume.
Yeah, you just blow it up bigger.
That's right.
That's how to add volume.
Cup of tea.
Or have lockdown. That also adds volume. So cheers, everybody. Cheers.
It's not been kind.
Oh,
folks.
Balloonatics, there we go. Delft. She's made brownies. Going to take care of dessert.
Goodness.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Here you go. You're going to have one of them. We like brownies. Now, the big debate. The big debate, though.
What's the big debate, Dom?
Do you go for a middle piece or a corner piece?
I always go for middle piece because I'm not so big on the cooked side so much. I prefer the middle piece.
Oh, I like the chewy goodness of the edge, though.
Yeah, yep, he does. Right, okay, we've got to get through these designs, otherwise we're never going to get through them.
Welcome to Cooking with Q Corner, Anna. Yes, you're right.
So we've got tool time, because on June the 20th, Sunday June the 20th, it is Father's Day, which is celebrated in something like 111 countries around the world on the same day, which is generally the third Sunday in June. Generally, the Sunday that's very closest to my birthday on June the 19th.
So we've started in our business being asked for some different designs, what we've got available and all that kind of good stuff. And there are some good designs out there, but it got us thinking, what could we do? What could we add our own little unique twist to?
Absolutely. And the thing is that back when we used to be on the entertainment circuit full time, we used to get asked for lots of different tools and various things. In fact, there was a weave, which is now called we understand it's the flat weave.
It's not now called. It
always was, but
we never knew it like that.
No, we called it the chainsaw weave because it was something that we came up when we were asked for a chainsaw one time.
I think most of our techniques were named after the first object we made with it.
Yes.
But that's not very helpful when you're doing a class. Mm-hmm. And it does limit the technique to one design.
Yes.
So we've
developed
and moved on.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with something really quick, and that is a pair of pliers for our toolkit. So you can add it to a design, or you can use it as a twister, or whatever you want to do. But it's a very simple pair of pliers using only 2 balloons.
Yeah, so we thought we'd cover some of the bits of the add-ons, but these could be used in many different designs.
Yes.
Whether you use like a mini base design and you want to kind of add some little elements in there, a bigger bouquet with some base elements, or even in fact, like something like a 3-foot design where you could have them hanging off it, have them in the base, or even if it's like 3-foot latex.
In fact, if you do use any of the designs from tonight's show, we would really appreciate you sharing them with us as well. So we're going to use our little premium smart twist to inflate the balloons. It makes it nice and easier for us. It's on 23%. It keeps on flashing. Oh no, it's gone to 24% now.
It's optimistic.
Yeah, we very rarely charge it. In fact, where's its bag that it usually comes in? And the cutter. Where's the cutter?
Oh, because I took it off to charge it. Because Keith says we very rarely charge it. What he means by that is we've not charged it for some time, and I quickly plugged it in before the show.
And nearly left it through in the design studio rather than in here. So it normally has a cutter on the side.
Do you want the cutter? I've got scissors.
I like the cutter.
I know. If you want the cutter, you've got to go and get it.
I'm not going to get the cutter. I'm going to use scissors. Okay,
so
we're going to start with a 260Q chrome.
Can't have everything.
No, or anything. Nice. We're just going to inflate it partially, and then I'm just going to slide it through. And you can see, because we've used an electric inflator, it has no bulges like you would get on using a hand pump. Twist it off and then tie
Especially
it.
for the chrome though as well. It is sensitive to that.
Yes. Absolutely. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to start with a pinch twist on one end.
And that's quite a small pinch twist as well, isn't it?
Yes, a little pinch twist, and then give that a squish, and then decide on the length of our pliers on here. So this is about 8 fingers of size. Twist it, take it back down, twist that off and around the pinch twist so that it will lock it in place. And then another little squish to soften it slightly, and a pinch twist of the same size as this one. And there's our... So this is what we've got. We've got our loop separated with a twist at the top and 2 pinch twists. So what we can do is we can get rid of the excess of on this. So I would normally just cut this on here. I'll cheat and use my fingers. Keep that for a scrap for something later on. And then I can tie it to my original neck of my balloon. And... oh.
You put the cutter on, you can run it with that.
I know, that's what I would normally do.
You can put the cutter in 2 different positions.
I know, yeah, on the front or the side. So I would just go click like that, but you're going to pretend to be a cutter. You might as well have some use, Dom. Come on. No, just hold it in place, and then there we go. Okay, so we have this going on with 2 pinch twists. Then I'm going to take another 260Q and inflate partially. Using dark blue for this one. And then what I'm going to do is I want to make the knot as small as possible. So I tie it off and then I take hold of the knot and I actually push it into the balloon. So I take hold of it and I push it towards the balloon while pulling away with that.
We talked about this on the last show as well, weren't we?
And we get
how
a
important
tiny
that
little
is.
knot. So if you hold that blade up
this
like
gives us the ability now to cut this really close and really neat. Because we did this, was it the bow we did? I think it was. Yeah.
And then it means that you've only got a tiniest of knot on the end of there.
But again though, the same techniques being used, but on a totally different design.
And then I'm going to... I want my handle, which is just a little bit longer than the front end, and then put a twist in there, take it back up to get it to the same size. I'm not bothered if this untwists now. I've already got my mark to where I'm going to retwist it, and then I can tie this off onto this side. Again, I will use my handy cutter.
I actually quite like it when it untwists though, because then when you put it back together again, after you've tied that knot, the pressure between the 2 bubbles, the 2 chambers, is equal, so the size stays the same. Absolutely. Otherwise, if I try to keep that twist in, then tie my knot, I always find that it's not quite the same size.
Yeah.
However, letting it come undone.
And then it means on there I can take it back up to the top, but it's round about where that twist was. And like Dom says, it's the kind of the pressure's equalised.
What's important though is to not miss that step, because if you don't twist it and just tie the other end, you won't have enough give in the balloon. If you try to twist it, it'll be over pressurised and it will probably pop.
And then with this V that we have, I'm just going to push it between my pinch twists on here and bring it up. So one goes to the front, one of the pinch twists goes to this side, and one goes to the other side like this, and turn it sideways. Now what I need to do is, this is going to be my my pliers, so the pliers need to have more of a grab on here. So I'm going to take this and then push that in like this together, so it gets an equal bend in there for the grab of the pliers, yeah. And then for the handles, I'm going to do a slightly different thing in the fact that what I want to do is curve them slightly inwards. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a slide backwards and forwards. So I just bend it and then gently backwards and forwards like this. And then what that does is that gives us our simple pliers. So that's a start for it. For 2 balloons. 2 balloons, and it's a pair of pliers to go in and out.
Change the colours, change the scale depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. They can even be shears, garden shears. They could be all sorts as well. So.
It's quite a versatile little technique, but doing it where these have got that twist in there, so you've got that very clean join, but it looks like 2 separate pieces. It's just a very easy way. Otherwise, if you try to do a knot there, you're just never going to get that neat. It's just it's too hard to do.
If you want them open, you can have them separated and open, but we like them closed.
It just seems to sell it really easily.
So, Dom, that's our pair of pliers. What else we got?
We've got a spanner.
In fact, we have our other pair of pliers.
And he's called Keith.
Hey!
Dun-dun.
Thank you. We'll be here all week. Try the veal.
So we have our, well, it can either be a little robot arm.
A little robot arm.
A little spanner. And sometimes, if you think about these ones...
Or a wrench, if you're American.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We didn't have my Americanese on. Sometimes things individually don't look as good unless they're with their friends, if you like. In context, when it's with the rest of the tools, this sells itself more as a spanner, but admittedly when it's on its own, it's less of a spanner.
It's the same with the pliers, right? You know, when you start putting them together as a toolkit.
Yeah, it really sells the concept of what you're trying to do. And this is just a single-ended one. You can do it dual. You can put a kind of a ring version on here as well. There's versions that we can do, but it's thinking about where you're going to actually position it into the base, how you're going to stick it on, and all that kind of jazz as well.
So for this, I'm going to inflate this one for Dom, but for this, what we're going to do is we're going to make the 260 thinner, like almost as a
a bit
more like a 160.
Yeah, 160.
So just stretch it out and inflate.
Don't worry when you're doing this technique that when you get odd bits that are on the sides, we just discard those bits. It's inevitable, especially at where you're holding it, that you might get a bit of a taper at that beginning section.
Yeah.
But Keith's just bypassed that, and he's using his mind tricks.
I'm desperate for that cutter, right?
Premium, if you'd only included on this model a cutter, handy dandy cutter on the end, that would have been fantastic.
It would have been fantastic.
Just saying. So this one we've got a piece that runs round the top section and then a separate piece for the handle, but normally when you're making it, we can make this bit first, and then when we cut it off here, keep the inflated section then to add it in here. If you find that a bit clumsy, you can always just re-inflate it, or in fact you can use a different scrap or something if you want. But I'm going to just start off from one side. I'm going to start here and then go to the pinch twist, then this bubble, and then I can do my 2 pinch twists here, bubble, pinch twist, bubble. We're just going to run that section through there. Okay.
But on the other, with this particular one, because there's already one little pinch twist, you're only going to do 1 pinch twist on that side, yeah? Because you're just going to complete the spanner, yeah?
Oh no, sorry, I was going to do a fresh one.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to complete the spanner.
I could do.
Double-ended spanner.
Let's do it again. So
okay.
Okay. So we're going to do a little squeeze.
For the people in the cheap seats.
And we're going to put our twist in, and we're going to do a pinch twist. And like Keith did on the pliers, keep that pinch twist small. You don't want it like a really massive chunky pinch twist. Sometimes they're the right thing to do, but for this one to keep it just nice and neat. So that's create our first pinch twist. Then we're going to bring this down. So this is bringing it down to the bottom part. So we can do our twist, and then we do our 2 pinch twists. So single bubble first. We're going to pull that in, and a single bubble again, and we pull all that in. And then I'm going to go back up now to do the other side, trying to match the size. Okay, so I want it fairly equal. Small bubble again. Give me that pinch twist. And then this very end one, I'm going to do it. We need to keep this one nice and neat. So I'm going to take this balloon here, I'm going to squeeze it so I have a kind of an uninflated piece in the middle. So I'm leaving enough here to tie off. Normally I just keep a hold of this. Keith's going to take it this time, so I can tie this one so you can see. Doing the same technique that Keith did with the pliers, pulling down onto that knot to really pull it in tight to get a clean cut. That gives us our top part of the spanner, and then we'd then capture the rest of this. We're just going to tie that off, and then we can pull that into those 2 pinch twists here. That's why the pinch twists are great. They give a really good mechanical connection and a really good place to hide all of your mechanics. Just thinking if there's a cutter on there, you know.
If only there was a cutter, it'd be really handy. You know what I mean?
Just saying. Just saying.
It's got a space here and a space there, but it's missing on both sides.
What an invention. Bring the handle down. We're going to do a twist here and then a pinch twist to finish it off. And as Keith said, you could add to this and do the other one as well if you wanted to, or you can have them as single ones. It is entirely up to you.
Nearly got it. We'll keep this though because that's the end. They're handy.
Yeah.
They're handy.
Especially doing objects like this.
Yes, okay. So that means you've got a spanner. Got like quarter turn wrench.
Nice.
I know.
Nice.
Right, okay, so moving on from our spanner, we're going to go on to...
because I always lose the
13 mil. 13 mil is the most handy spanner you'll ever have.
Not in America.
Well,
be half inch or something.
Something like that. 13 mil is... Yeah, it'd be around all there, yeah.
I know this
be a half inch.
because I've braid on half inch before.
Right, okay, so what we're going to do next is going to be a screwdriver. So you could have a fully inflated one, or if you want something that's got a bit more
detail.
detail, and it's nice and thin. What we do is we have remnants of a plastic straw, or you can use a cardboard straw. Doesn't really matter. What we do is we slide it inside of a 260Q. This is chrome. You can push it all the way down, or alternatively what you can do is not push it all the way down, tie off the end and pull tight for our little knot and cut. Yeah.
Again, I suggest a cutter. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And then what it does is it gives us a little point on the end for our screwdriver. So that's just that detail of the fact that it actually comes to a point on the end. And then from there, what we do is we tie this end off too, so that it has some stretch with it on there. So you've got the straw, which is the solid part inside here, but this bit has some stretch in there.
Because you can do it with a, just with a little puff of air in a 260Q, and it gives it a very similar look. But what we find is it's harder to put onto a design because you have to put quite a lot of mechanics, to keep it perfectly straight. Yeah, and then it's hard to hide that mechanic, so you'd have to use a kind of some sort of glue to eat it, and for the I don't know, jet melt, you probably see it. Glue dot, you probably see it. It has to be something quite discreet. So for us, that's why we're using this technique.
Then I'm going to take the 260Q yellow and I'm going to fully inflate it. I could have just cut it down a bit, but I didn't. And then I'm going to leave more than I need, let the air out. And I'm going to leave about, I think it was about 8. Around about 8.
There's no exact sizes on these. The only thing you have to consider is scale between the different objects that you're making, and make sure that they kind of work together. They don't have to be perfect, though, remember. These are balloon tools.
Yeah, they don't have to really work. So what I've done is I've tied it loose so that there's some uninflated part of the balloon here. So I can squish that up if need be and get some of the air out of here, because we're going to need that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these together, these two parts here, together.
A great technique for hiding that connection as well.
So that goes in there, tie that nice and tight, get rid of them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push up like this, and I'm going to twist a small bubble in here. Some people would, at this point, would just go straight in with an apple twist. But what we do is, it does work, yeah, absolutely.
It gets the look.
But you don't get as solid as a connection, okay? So what we do is we have a small bubble that's on here. Oop, I'll try that again. A small bubble. And we're going to push that bubble inside of the balloon. And I'm going to twist it all the way in there. And then take hold of the knot and stretch this back out. That's why I needed that stretch, because there you can see the plastic. It goes in there, but it's not caught in this twist. So what it does is, because it has that bubble inside of there, it's much tighter connection for the apple twist. And also you can see how there it's overextended this part, so it gives you the more idea of a screwdriver.
Much better definition.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, it's just trying to kind of.
So yeah,
it's basic distortion, and
absolutely.
A lot of it happens itself with the way we're building these. But just for us now, the connection method to get this onto a design, it's just a lot more structurally correct on its own. So.
Somebody's asked, will the plastic not pop the balloon? No, it's the thing is that this isn't inflated so much, and now the part that's actually inside of there has a cover on the outside of it. So
this bit's tied, but we're not relying on any air being in it, so it stretches over it, and even if it did,
it's very loose.
Yeah, and if it did pierce it, it's not going to burst it.
And if you have any doubts whatsoever about this particular connection on here, you can take a little bit of your scrap, go once round and tie that off, or take a piece of 160Q and trim it off. It also gives a connection
point of that as well. So if you tie that round there to give that, so there's no chance it can untwist, you can use the remnant of that to then bring it into your design, depending on the style of design.
So we have a screwdriver, we have our pliers, we have a spanner or a wrench, and we have our screwdriver. What else can we do, Dom?
We've got a hammer.
Nailed it.
Dunk, dunk, dunk. Like this one.
Nailed it. Oh.
Nothing says friendship like a hammer on the head and a screwdriver in the eye.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a claw hammer.
It is.
The claw.
So this is just using a couple of balloons again. So we've got a 260Q chrome on the top.
I'm going to go and get that clip because it's just
it's been burning a hole in your head. This is two separate parts again, much like the wrench or the spanner, just to make it easier to make. You could do it so you're doing it with one balloon, but we want to make it nice and easy, nice and simple. So we've got two separate parts of this, and this is where some of those offcuts and scraps really come in, because you can have those bits ready to go. So like for instance, I've got a part of a 260Q chrome here, which I can make the back part of the hammer. So I'm going to inflate that first. Tie this off nice and neat, so we've got that tight knot. He's looking around now for that. Where you found it? No. The bag is somewhere over there, and that's where the clip is.
Is it? Oh, it's right there. Right here.
Now I remember where I put it down. Now I remember.
Right, okay, this is going to make things a lot easier. Let's put that clip back under there.
Right, so...
What's he like, guys?
So I'm making the first part of the claw, and like the technique that Keith did with the pliers, the handle, I'm going to put a twist in here, which is going to be the twist that joins here.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that in, bring the balloon over, line it up. Again, I don't mind that untwist, I really don't, because it's going to be added in shortly, so I'm going to be putting it to one side, so I don't mind that I let that twist out. Tie this one off. Again, do this one nice and neat. Oh, look at this. It's been here all the time.
Oh, look at that. It's a really handy clip cutter on just on the side of there.
So if we put that back in again, we're going to give ourselves this back claw section. Okay. So the top part now, the main part of the hammer, we're going to inflate another 260 chrome. And we're going to do a apple twist.
Yes, yes, absolutely. There is a cutter. It's on the. It should have been on the side. It comes on here, and it can also be on the front as well if you prefer it.
Really
it's fantastic.
There's a bag that goes on it as well.
You can see I was lost without it because I was just.
He does like the cutter.
Yeah,
I agree. I like it as well, but I was just too lazy to go and get it. If I'm honest. Apple twist in here. So we're just going to push that knot in there with our other hand there. Capture it with your fingers. That knot. And we're going to twist that round. So we're not doing the technique that Keith did with that extra ball. We don't need that. The stability between these two. There's nothing else.
It's not a plastic bit hanging out the front.
Exactly. Right? So we can just go with that front part there. And then we're going to do four bubbles here for the chamber, the top part of the hammer. And whilst we're putting them together, we're going to bring these into it as well. What we're trying to do is there's so many different ways that you can make this element that would be, I would say, a little bit more conservative of balloons.
Yeah.
And perhaps, do it with one route or something. What we're trying to do here, though, is it's a mix of twisting, but also something that's going to last in a decor item.
Yes, absolutely.
So we don't want to over twist it. For this particular part here, you could do it so we create what's called a barrel roll. So we're going to push the balloons, the chambers, through each other to join them. Great technique. Looks great when you're twisting, but sometimes it overstretches the balloon. Burns the balloon, distorts the sizing. So we want to have a little bit more control, which is why we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to create that first chamber there. Then I'm going to match the size up. But when I bring this over, that's when we can just include this guy here. So put that twist back in the middle. So instead of having to push things through, so tuck it underneath there, bring it up. Now that's locked in. No great drama there. So that's ready to go. Twist those round, that front apple twist. Now I can bring these back over. So again, just trying to match that size. Over the back. And again, you could barrel roll those through.
But you don't need to.
But these hide that join,
yeah,
so you don't see it. So why make it harder on yourself? Yeah. No one's going to see you make it. So it's the finished end result with the longest kind of inflated time afterwards, what we're trying to achieve. Do the other one, match that up size, and again wrap that around, and that locks it into place. For this here, we take the excess. You might need to go and resolve that.
I'll give them
Give
two
it a
more. I'll
second.
give them 2 minutes.
You could tie this round the top here, the front of the hammer, but we're going to actually pull this through because that actually gives us a connection there for the stem of the hammer, the handle that's going to tie into that piece there. So bring that round to the back. I'm going to wrap it, lock it into position, and then tuck it back into the middle. And then I'm going to take a 260Q mocker, inflate. There we go. Tie that off. And then we can just place this into the top. So find where we've got that 260Q going through the middle, and we can just tie that on.
Because even though we're going to push that 260Q into it a little bit to open it up, it just means that if somebody does pull on it, because they're going to play with the tools, right? If somebody pulls it too much, it's still going to come back and connect in there. It's not just going to come out.
Set the length, put a twist in. Now, depending on how you're going to join this into your design, you may want to leave a trailing piece on here, so you've got a tying point, or you might be gluing it on or doing something else. So think about that before you disconnect
Chop it
that
all
piece,
off and get rid of that knot.
Because that might be a great way of bringing it into the base and then just having maybe the glue dot just to stick it on the side. Works. Or, if not, we're just going to tidy that up. Then for the back, we're going to create that little bit of a bend. I'm doing them both at the same time to get the uniform shape between the two. And then we have
little claw hammer. Okay, last one. We're going to go for the big one. The big one is the chainsaw, which we talked about right in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to chuck that over there. I'll get rid of some of this excess ones. So the chainsaw starts off with a little bit of flat weave, if you've been watching the show before, it's the same weave that we use for our handbags.
It's a great structure. It's a great base for lots of things.
And also our watering cans and
also use them as like a base plate before as well.
Yes.
So twisted designs where
like
it's
a
almost
pillow
like
almost. Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Like a pillow, like the
it's almost like a little diorama we've done with like a couple of characters we've made for someone. So we've got this little base plate, and then you can put the characters on, so you can kind of tell a little story with it as well. So it's a great way of using a technique.
So to start off with, I'm doing about 6 fingers bubble on there. It doesn't matter as long as it's around that, and then put a little pinch twist on the outside, and then do exactly the same with the other balloon. So size it off against there. Oh, we'll have that go. We'll go that again, and then a little pinch twist on there. And then what I'm going to do is, with this nozzle, I connect that into the pinch twist on this side.
It's 2 identical bits to start with, and we just put them across opposite to get that really easy starting position.
Yep, so we have this starting position. And then we're going to do a very small bubble, and it's just a spacer bubble, so that we can have our next section. And another little pinch twist.
The most common mistake we see with this technique is missing that bubble, then trying to do the next layer before the bubble's in, so it never rises up. It all tries to start from that initial position, that pinch twist. So you tend to get them looking at a bit of a funny angle to start with.
So spacer bubble, and then a pinch twist. And then we cross them across each other, twist around that pinch twist, and back the opposite way, twist, and around that pinch twist.
It's always trying to make sure you've got the two that go over opposite and work them over. Don't do one to go over them back again, because then it won't work out even for you.
So again, we've done a small bubble by Jason, by the way. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can see there it's 1:30 in the morning.
Is that all?
Yeah, he's going to bed now, but thanks, Jason.
Oh, we'd be getting up at that time.
So yeah, small bubble, pinch twist, small bubble, pinch twist on both sides. And then again, we twist it to lock that size, take it around the pinch twist, and take the other one back the other way. And that will do me. So I'm just going to get rid of the excess on here.
With the handy cutter.
With a handy cutter. Tie that off, tuck it inside. Same on this one. Tie that off. And tuck that inside. So we have this shape that's going on at the moment. Then what I need to do is take a grey 350Q. Alright, okay. So from there, I haven't set to the size, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this off and then leave a long stretch for whatever I want to do on here. I actually want to, I've left that on there, so I'm going to create a very small pinch twist on the end of here.
If in doubt, pinch twist.
Pinch twist, okay, and because I've twisted that round a few times, it's going to hold it in place because it's got a long, neck to hold it in place. And then what I'm going to do is open this up and push this inside. So open that up.
I think the first time we made this as well, we didn't have any 350Qs.
Yeah.
So we used a 260Q and kind of doubled it over to give us the width. It does work, but the 350 just has a cleaner look, which will kind of make a bit more sense at the end.
Yeah. So we've pushed that inside so that the pinch twist is just hanging out of the back of there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little handle on the back of there. So I'm going to take the colour scheme that we've done on this, because it's a chainsaw. We're going from the still chainsaws, from that kind of colour.
I think it's pretty much universal that on the international range. But again, colours entirely up to you guys whether you want it to be a themed colour, or if it's a particular brand, because we've got different brands that lots of people like, and I know as a guy who's into tools, say I'm quite a DeWalt fan, so black and yellows work really well. There's all
if you want still
ranges.
Chainsaw, then use the orange.
It just really helps again sell that whole idea of what it is you're trying to show.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm tying this into the end of that 350Q on there, so it has a connection on that side, and then I'm going to take its small twist to one of our pinch twists on here. Take it around the pinch twist and back out at the end. That's going to come round for whatever size handle we want on there. So I'm just going to loop that, lock it, take it around our pinch twist on this one. And then inside...
another good way of using the design to help with the structure. So that's stopping that 350 being pulled out, because you could have done lots of different things to stop that. You could have had, another bit of 260Q run across the middle. You could join that 350 onto the end of there, much like the hammer. But this technique's using, part of the design element to actually shore up the structure.
Yeah, and because we have those necks there as well, each time I can tie off, which we probably wouldn't have done for
an entertainment
style design, but for retail designs we certainly want to make it as tidy as possible.
If you're going to go to the effort of adding that into a design, and once it's fixed on, you don't want to have to redo something. Entertainment, it's in the moment, and if it kind of has problems after that, no one cares, because it's in the moment, which is what's happened, and that's what it's all about, that experience. Decor's different.
This is also really good at this point to use if you want to use a jackhammer, if you want to make a pneumatic hammer on that side as well. So this is a really cool design on for that. And then I'm going to use that scrap of black that I chopped off.
Doing a range like this, especially if you're doing the same colours through the range, keep the scraps as you're working,
Yeah, you never know when they're going to come in handy.
For these kind of tools, there's lots of little bits and pieces and elements you need to add in of often different colours, so that's really good.
And then what I'm going to do is I've tied it together into a loop like this. And then I'm going to take one of my front pinch twists on here, and I'm just going to feed that through the loop, twist it so that it's locked, and then take that loop and push it down like this. And what that does is it opens it up for the handle. So now I have a handle on the back and the top for the cut. With just a little scrap. You
can even do some little add-ons with this, with either like a Sharpie or the Posca pens or the tile markers, or with some vinyl as well. You could add some little kind of graphics to add to it as well. So You know, we were having a bit of fun with this one. It was like cheesy lines.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're a cut above the rest.
Yeah,
or something
or with it being the brand is still, you know, still number one.
Yeah.
You could have some fun ways of kind of adding to this, you know. And people have talked in the past about, you know, could you put the manufacturer's logos on? You know, that's not an ideal way of doing it. I think probably, honestly, a manufacturer would actually get a kick out of it, because you're not really kind of...
No, but on the other side is if you use it in a text or something, I don't know, in a funny way or something, like a parody, it's a different... Right, okay, so to finish this off, what we're going to do is we're going to add the blade. So to add the blade, I've got a 260Q chrome, which I'm going to partially inflate and soften it. You can see I've left lots of excess on there, and the reason for it is that we're going to be doing precision bubbles. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to tie it into the pinch twist that's up here. Just wrap that into there.
You can do these totally separate away from it, but you may as well utilise this as one of the holding points, and it saves trying to add it in afterwards.
And then we're going to do a series of precision bubbles, trying to get the same size. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Notice, Keith, always twisted in the same direction. If you have problems with the bubbles, if they keep coming untwisted, it either means that you're not twisting in the same direction each time, or you're not putting enough twists in.
So that's 11. On the 12th bubble, I turn that into a pinch twist, like this. And then what I do is I give that a little bit of a stretch, and I finish off my 350Q. Ooh, I don't need that, I'll just ram that. Finish off my 350Q to this length.
This particular one, if you do struggle with the precision bubbles, as in you run out of balloon or there's not enough in there, you can do this in 2 separate ones if you want. There's no reason why you can't.
Especially if you're doing the bigger one, because this thing upsizes to a 646Q.
Really well.
So yeah, you have to use 2.
But for this one we can manage to get it out of 1. But because we've got a mechanical connection at the end there, we've got that pinch twist, it's easy to join this one in, then start with a fresh balloon if you need to.
So yeah, so we've got 11 bubbles up to our pinch twist on here, and you can see it's wanting to pull it up that way because of the tension, so we need to equalize the tension. So in that case, we've got to do another 11 bubbles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Funny how this element here really sells this now, though. Just that final thing, a few bubbles
9,
in 1 260Q. That's it. It's now a chainsaw.
10 and 11, and you can see we started off with so much extra balloon, but because of all these twists, we've only got that tiny bit left on the end of there. So I'm just going to use that handy cutter, tie
the chainsaw as well,
and then that scrap. And then what I'm going to do is come back down the other side of the balloon and tie it into our pinch twist on this side and tuck that away inside of there. Make sure this straightens up, and it means that we have finally our very own chainsaw.
Perfect for graphics here as well, though.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So a nice birthday message
us,
or a Father's Day message.
This is the one that really is the focal point. It's got a bit more detail into it. It's a bit more elaborate. And then the other tools are kind of our kind of filler ones. You know, you don't want to spend too much time on every single element because it's just going to eat up your time.
Yeah.
So we try to keep those ones simple, have one really good one, but this is the one that kind of sells it. And we say there's nothing like Father's Day than giving him a reminder of all the jobs that he's got to do. Because that's what I appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's your hammer and your spanner, Dom?
Yeah, hammer, my spanner. If I had a hammer, I'd have a gold burst.
So, we hope that you've enjoyed this special tool time on here. We appreciate that you guys...
Screws or nails?
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
We hope that you guys have enjoyed it too. If you've liked what you've seen, you can always subscribe and get that bell on as well.
We practice those sound effects. So.
Yes, Harry's just said there chainsaws are amazing for Halloween too. Yeah, absolutely.
Good idea.
And Valentine's.
Yeah, it's just like put some bits of, your offcuts of 260Q red and stuff.
Blood and things like that. Okay, too much.
Halloween special.
We're going to say bye-bye for now. You guys take care, stay nice and safe. And if you do use the designs, we would love to see your designs. And if you have a set of tools that you like to make already, again, feel free to share them with us. We would absolutely love that.
And a big thank you to our crew and rock stars as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You can see your names that are coming up on there. We do have some new ones. If you do want to become a member, there is a link in the description. You can always click on if you want to. If not, that's all good too.
And there's new emojis coming for next episode.
Yes. Look out for next episode. There's 2 new emojis coming
episode 75.
for episode 75.
I'm not going to tell you what they are yet, though.
No. But one of them's a rainbow heart.
And one of them's a cup of tea.
So we're going to say bye-bye. We've got everybody. We went everybody through. I believe that's true.
I think so.
We'll say bye-bye for now. Stay safe and have fun.